her on the phone talking to her friends, interpreting their dreams, giving psychic advice. He believed his mother had passed her gift to him. So at night, when the voices only he could hear spoke to him, he knew it was because he was like his mom. But as he grew older, hideous faces in the mirror terrified him. He would whisper to his brother, "Can you see that?" A lifetime of psychosis was taking form, stealing the mind of Andy Fiore. His teen years were challenging, his parents divorced, yet Andy graduated from high school and earned a degree in radio and television production at Ryerson University. He fell in love and was soon engaged to marry. Still, the nights were filled with whispering voices. Often faces glared at him from the mirror. When his fiancée broke off their engagement, he decided to make a change, to go to South Korea to teach English. But like fuel thrown on a smoldering fire, the loss of his relationship and the complete change of lifestyle caused his hallucinations to flare up. Dark, sinister, terrifying, suffocating. Images pursued him, voices taunted him until he finally, desperately returned to Toronto to get help. Andy was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and with most illnesses, that's the first step in recovery. But with mental illness, this is not the case. Decisions become impossible. Andy was prescribed medication, but as soon as the medication started to work, Andy believed he was cured and stopped them. It was only a matter of months before the voices were back. Rather than go back on the expensive doctor-mandated medication, Andy began to self-medicate with street drugs. In no time, he was addicted to heroin. Frantically searching for peace, he stumbled along a rocky path that led him to Vancouver. And the demons followed. For the next 5 years, he lived an unholy trinity. Living on the street, arrest and incarceration, and then back to the streets. He trusted no one, had no real friends, had no home. Voices were his constant companions. Hallucinations, terror, fear were all he knew. A major overdose led to treatment in a methadone program. But without the heroin, the hallucinations ran rampant. Andy was living in hell. And then a miracle began for Andy. He met Sue, and although she had no experience with mental illness, she stood beside him as the terror consumed him, saw firsthand how ill he truly was, knew that he would need medication for the rest of his life. She became his advocate, his rock. And on that rock, he began to rebuild his life. A short stay in the hospital meant a new course of medication. And with Sue at his side, Andy also began to recognize that the medication helped. Within a year, he began to pick up the pieces of this life. His passion for film began to reignite, and he applied for a small arts grant to make a film. One sunny day, instead of buying drugs outside the Carnegie Center, he proudly entered the building to pick up his first arts grant. Through the process of making that film, Andy found a voice that had been silent for years, a voice of compassion and understanding, a voice of unique perspective. That film led to another and another, telling the stories that Andy cared about, the stories of the downtown East Side that had been his home for over 7 years. Soon, he was accepting commissions to tell stories for others, using his voice to give voice to the needs of others. He began speaking to community groups and high school students, and he is currently filming The 100 Block, documenting the plight of sex trade workers on the downtown East Side. Like his live presentations, his films speak with honesty and a conviction born in the realities of the hell Andy has known. Filmed through the lens of someone who has crawled, stumbled, and walked through the dark and stormy night to find the golden light of dawn. Illuminating a strength he never knew he had, the determination he didn't believe he'd find, and most of all, illuminating Andy Fiore's incredible courage to come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2013 Courage to Come Back Award recipient for mental health, Andy Fiore.
That's perfect. Thank you.